Hello again, guys. Welcome to our podcast. Today we got an epic artist on Webtoon, an epic mangaka, an Arabian mangaka, artist Diana El Abadi. So we are so happy to have you here with us today, Diana.
I'm very happy as well. Thank you for having me.
Well, we got too many questions. We asked too many questions. So when I posted on this social media telling people I'm going to interview Diana Abedi, people gone crazy calling Diana Abedi. Wow! So we are having fun today. We are going to answer all of your questions. Stay tuned with us. We're going to mention screenshots from Diana Abedi Grays and Grays clippings. So stay tuned with us. Well, usually I start my podcast with some fun questions, but since we don't have enough time to do this, uh, we got two kind of questions: the Arabic ones and the English ones. Well, which one do you want to start first?
Let's go. How the ratio? Let's say. Let's start with the lesser number of questions in English or in Arabic.
The lesser number is in Arabic. Okay. هنتكلم مع بعض الأول الأسئلة العربي. كيف دربتي نفسك على الرسم؟
تلفزيون definitely يعني في شيء أنا دائما بحسه بالسوشيال ميديا هلأ مفقود من الرسامين اللي عم بيطلعوا بالسوشيال ميديا، إنه أنا دربت حالي بإنه بكون عندك تلفزيون واحد بالبيت والعائلة بتطلع، بيكون عندك مسلسل واحد بدك تطلع عليه، مسلسل كرتون يعني، وطول ما أنا بتطلع بحفظ. فمجرد ما تخلص الحلقة وأنا قاعدة بالغرفة بحاول أضل أتذكر. بحس هاي السكيل كتير مهمة وهلأ ضايعة مع السوشيال ميديا، لأنه أنت عندك الفون طول النهار بتقدر تطلع على كل إشي وتنقل، بس لما تضلك تحفظ بتصير تحفظ ترسم إشي تاني يوم لما ترجع الحلقة إنه لا كان شعرها هيك مو هيك مثلا. فكتير التلفزيون ومتابعة الأفلام الكرتون هو اللي يعمل هاي السكيل عندي.
رائع. ايه هو الانسبيريشن اللي انت بتستوحي منه افكارك؟ ايه مصدر الالهام الخاص بيك؟
أصعب سؤال ممكن ينسأل، لأنه أي إشي ممكن يعني الباك جراوند اللي أنت يعني هلا الغرفة اللي أنت قاعد فيها عم تعطيني انسبيريشن. مجرد ما صار في عندك قصة وكاركترز ممكن أي إشي يعمل لك انسبيريشن. طبعا البيرسونال اكسبيرينسز اللي بمر فيها من مشاعر، من أفكار، من observations، يعني من أشياء بتطلع عليها وبتمسني دغري بتعمل لي إلهام بصير بدي أحكي عنها.
جميل جدا جدا. هل انت مرغمة انك ترسمي مانجا هل انت مجبرة انك ترسمي مانجا بشكل بشري او ممكن ترسميها بأي شكل انت حباها؟ شكل خيالي شوية او هل يعني هو
هلا
بس
أكيد في أنواع كتير للقصص، يعني حسب القصة. أنا شخصيا بميل للشخصيات البشرية، مع إني مرات بعمل كروس أوفر، بصير إنه في شخصية نص حيوان نص بني آدم، حسب يعني بكون بدي أوصل فكرة أكتر من إنه سبب يعني. بس أنا حابة يعني مرات بحب أتحدى حالي، بس على الأغلب بضل مع الشخصيات البشرية. هلا برجع للقصة وبرجع للشخص نفسه إذا عنده اهتمام بهذا الإشي، لأنه دائما وأبدا أول إشي لأي رسام مشان ينجح بقصصه أو برسمه أو بأي نوع من أنواع الفن إنه يكون يحبه ويتبع اللي بيحبه، مش زي ما تحكي الساحة الفنية بتتطلب منه.
هو ممكن يكون برضو قصده في السؤال هل هو مجبر انه يحول الستايل بتاعه يكون كرتوني
بشري
شوية
100% سيمي رياليستيك أو رياليستيك
او سيمي
يعني.
لايف، مظبوط كده.
هلا الصراحة يعني أجين برجع للموضوع قديش الشخص بيحب الستايل هيك حيتطور فيه. بس بتخيل يعني هي صعبة، لأنه الواحد لما يبلش بده يرسم الإشي اللي سهل أو اللي بيحبه، بس معرفة زي ما تحكي الشكل البشري كتير بيساعد لما بدك ترسم قصة مانجا، يعني لأن الشخصية بدها تتحرك، الشخصية بدها، فمتابعة الناس البشر يعني أنا 24 ساعة وين ما أروح أي ويتنج روم بقعد فيها، أي ترانسبورتيشن بستعملها، بتطلع الناس كيف بتحركوا. ويمكن رسمي ما له علاقة بس بالشكل البشري الحقيقي، بس البيس تبعه أكيد ببلش من هناك.
حتى في امثله طلعت وانا بفتح حتى الويب تون، انا لسه فاتح، في امثله طلعت اهي بتوضح الكلام اللي بتقوله الفنانه. في مانجاكا مبتدئين وعايزين نصيحة ثمينة من أسطورة مثلك. ما رأيك
أسطورة؟
بعملنا؟ هم ما بعتوش الأعمال بتاعتهم بس
عن مين عم تحكي؟ مين أسطورة؟ anyway. صراحة نصيحتي دائما وأبدا زي ما هلا حكيت عن موضوع، لكن حكيت عن موضوع الواحد اللي يحب يعني يرسم الإشي اللي بيحبه و I blanked out. يرسم يعني الحب أول إشي، والاهتمام بالإشي بغض النظر عن الساحة الفنية إيش بتتطلب. هلا نصيحة حقيقية دائما أنا بحكي لازم الواحد يبعد عن وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي. لما يصير في موضوع شيرينج كتير مفيد، لما يصير في قصة وبدك تبني جمهور كتير مفيد، بس بالبداية لازم الواحد يكون عم بيعمل بعيدا عن هاد، لأنه كتير بتتعرض لضخ من الستايلز ومن الأفكار ومن التعليقات حتى، يعني ممكن ترجع الواحد لورا. يعني ما بحكي أنا ينفصل تماما عن التواصل الاجتماعي، بس يكون ليميتد، لأنه محدود، لأنه كتير بيأثر. يعني أنا صراحة شخصيا صار لي شهر تقريبا أكثر يمكن بعيدة شوي عن التواصل الاجتماعي. كم الشغل اللي اشتغلته والتطور اللي حسيته بأفكار، بطرق كتابة، بطرق رسم، أنا نفسي انصدمت وما كان عندي مشكلة. يعني ما كنتش حاسة إنه أنا أصلا عندي مشكلة السوشيال ميديا. فهاي أول يعني دائما أنا بحب أأكد عليها، لأنه كتير في مهارات الواحد بيكتسبها بعيد عن التواصل الاجتماعي، مع طبعا أهمية إنه لا، في كتير جانب إيجابي لإنه الواحد يكون على الإنترنت.
ممتاز. بنوه مرة تاني على المانجا بتاعت الفنانة دينا العبادي. في عندنا 2 جراي از وجراي از كليبينجز زي ما انتم شايفين كده على الويبتون. تقدروا تخشوا تعملوا سبسكرايب على التحفة الفنية اللي عاملاها الفنانة دينا العبادي. وهنتكلم في حتت عجباني قوي كاتباها نوت بويز لاف، وانا مستمتع ان احنا كعرب عارفين نتداول ونتكلم في الموضوع ده بالثقافة بتاعتنا كمسلمين ومسيحيين. ما الذي جعلك تختارين صراع القلب والعقل كسيم أساسي للقصة؟
في صراع أكبر منه بالحياة؟ يعني الصراع كتير كبير. يعني أنا بلش يمكن بشخصيتي أنا، يعني كان دائما من أسخف أصغر إشي ممكن يواجهه الواحد لأكبر إشي، دائما عندك اللي عقلي بيقول لي هيك. يعني حتى على مستوى هاي الانترفيو عقلي بيقول لي it's logical, it's a good step, I want to do it. بس my heart my personality يعني في نوع من الستريس، في نوع من التخوف، في نوع، فبصير الصراع كتير كبير، وبضل الواحد لازم يسمع من هون ويسمع من هون لبين ما يوصل لحل وسط. بعدين لما تلاحظ أي يعني أطلع من حالي وأطلع بلاقي كل المشاكل تقريبا بين الناس أو بين الشخص وذاته. يعني ممكن تحطها بإنه الجانب العاطفي والجانب العقلاني في صراع داخلي، لازم الواحد يكون واضح مع حاله لإيش بيميل. وكل حالة لها طبعا، يعني ما فيش جواب واحد، كل حالة هي بتتطلب إنه لا لازم تروح مع العقلانية أو مع العاطفية.
من أي سنة بدأتي ترسمي مانجا، ومين كان إلهامك، وشو الصعوبات اللي واجهتك خلال مسيرتك الفنية؟ طب ما هو كان إلهامك احنا لسه مجاوبين على السؤال ده، احنا هنتكلم على متى بدأتي الرسم والصعوبات اللي قابلتك خلال مسيرتك الفنية. السؤال ده احنا ممكن نقعد فيه سنتين
كتير
نجاوب فيه.
كتير، مع انه انا عندي اجابه كتير بسيطه. بس هلا الهامي، انا حكيت على الانسبيريشن، الهامي بالقصص بيجي من الحياه، بس الالهام الاول للمانجا انا ما كنت احب المانجا، ولا عمري قرات مانجا، ولا عمري حبيت الكوميكس. يس يعني كنت من الناس اللي انه حضرت ديث نوت، لازم تقرا المانجا، انه نو، ما في ميوزك، ما في حركه، I hate it. يعني ما كنت انه ما بحب، I hated it. يس. لا الهام تبعي كان رسامة مانجا اسمها سهرة ميزو. الكتاب تبعها أعطاني الدايركتور ماكوتو شينكاي لما إجا بال2008 على الأردن. حضرت معه وركشوب وصار في بيناتنا صداقة، وعطاني بنهاية الوركشوب كتاب. يعني هاي الرسامة راسمة القصة تبعته Voices of a Distant Star.
هل في ريفرنس ممكن نحط اللينك بتاعه في الانترفيو؟
ريفرنس أنا ممكن أبعت لك إياه.
اوكي تمام.
يعني يعني أعطاني الكتاب بال2008، وكنت وقتها لسه بالجامعة، حطيته على الرف وأكلته الغبرة. to be fully frank كان موقع وما أحلاه، بس يعني ما I have no interest at all بالمانجا. لما تخرجت من الجامعة كنت متفقة إنه أنا تخرجت هندسة، بس أنا بدي أشتغل بكتابة القصص، وكنت بدي أكون أنيميتر. بعدين كنت واقعية بإنه الأنيميشن بده سكيل ما عندي إياها، بده رسم أحسن، فقررت إني أتدرب بإني أرسم قصة بمانجا ستايل. ما اجتني الفكره غير لما كنت عم بنظف وطلعت هذا الكتاب وبطلع عليه انه it looked easy, it looked really easy. يعني طريقه رسمها كثير بتعمل فوكس على الوجه، على كثير في سلو بيس. يعني انا اصلا اللي جذبني لشغل ماكوتو شينكاي انه السلايس اوف لايف اللي لكثير ناس ممكن يبين بورينج لانه كثير ماندين او كثير يعني زي ما تحكي حياه عاديه وبس جوا شو عم بيصير بالافكار الكاركترز. اما بالنسبه لي كان انه انا هذا الشيء بدي اكتبه، ما بدي اكتب زي ناروتو، ما بدي اكتب اكشن، ما بدي اكتب. فكتير كان انسبيريشن لما شفت هذا الشغل، وقررت اني ابلش اجرب وان شوت وهيك بلشت السيره. فانا بال 2010 بلشت ارسم مانجا. جربت قبل هلا، يعني قبلها جربت من باب انه عندي صاحبه بتقول لي رسم المانجا، اوكي جربت، بس ما عندي انترست، كنت يعني جد كنت اكره الميديوم. بعدين بال 2010 خلص يعني في sometimes هم بيحكوا stars aligned، احنا بنحكي بعرفش the time was right، يعني امسك الكتاب وخلص يفتح لي هذا الباب لهذا الفن.
طيب انا اتمنى احنا هنكمل لسه الاسئله بتاعتنا، معلش يعني كل المشاهدين ما يكونوش ماتوا بعد الرد اللي انتوا سمعتوه دلوقتي ده. سؤال خطير جدا.
يس.
كيف تعاملتي مع اللي يقولك ان الرسم حرام؟
خطير جدا، ما عندي جواب. باس.
اوكي. كيف استطيع الانتقال بمانجتي للاحترافيه؟
يعني ما بعرف اذا حيكون اللي حاجابه يعني مثير للجدل، بس بتخيل انه ما يكون الهدف الاحترافيه، يكون الهدف اني بحب اللي عم بشتغله وبدي انشره وانا مستمتع فيه.
ده حقيقي.
وهذا الشيء حياخدك بليسز. يعني
ده حقيقي، حب اللي بتعمله وهتلاقي ناس جايه تحبه معاك.
يس، وهم اللي حيدفعوك للاحترافيه. يعني الجمهور هو اللي حيدفعك. انا ما فكرت اطبع كتبي قبل ما الجمهور قال لي امتى بدي اطلع الكتاب الاول، فانه ما كان ببالي اني اطبع القصه. ف يعني حلو الواحد يكون عنده هدف، وهدف كتير كبير، بس انا من الناس اللي بفضل لا يعني يكون الهدف زي ما تحكي على البين بورد موجود، بس مش هذا اللي انا بركض له. اللي بركض له شيء ثاني في عم بيحركني.
تمام.
اللي هو انا المسج تبع القصه او الحب للقصه او حبي للشغل نفسه. يعني
حلو جدا. متى راح نشوف قصتك مطبوعه باللغه العربيه؟ السؤال اللي بيستفزك دايما.
ما بيستفزني، لا حرام والله ما بيستفزني، بس السؤال صعب. يعني بتمنى انه تكون موجوده بالعربي قبل ما تخلص القصه. صراحه موضوع يعني احكي فيه officially عشان يكون on record in video with my facial expressions. انا بحب تكون بالقصه بالعربي تتوفر، انا اترجمها، لانه ما حتكون ترجمه، حتكون اعاده كتابه. اذا ما زبط هذا الاشي لازم يكون في تيم انا مشرفه عليه، لانه في ناس جربوا يترجموها قبل هلا وما رضيت. يعني بالنهايه لغتي الاولى هي، ما راح ارضى تكون غير ذا بيست. يعني في ناس بيطلبوني ترجمها بالفرنسي، ترجمها بالبرتغالي، ترجمها I say yes and I will provide scanlations، حتى يعني راح اعطيهم المانجا بدون التكست. بس لما تيجي للعربي، انه اذا انا ما كنت مشرفه ما راح اعطيها لحد ثاني. واحد اثنين، صراحه اذا ما كان عندي public speaker وفي تيم قبلي حيكون صعب بصراحه اني يعني شغل يعني هذا حتيجي اسئله انه مثلا التحديات، ما جاوبنا السؤال تحديات مثلا. صراحه الشغل يعني الرسم، انا تحدياتي كلها خارج طاوله الرسم كلها، وكل تحدياتي مربوطه بعلاقات يعني مع التعامل مع الناس. انا هون بتصفي عن جد عندي التحدي الحقيقي. فبتخيل انه اذا بدي اعمل الانجليزي وبدي اعطي نفس الاتنشن للعربي واكون بنفس التوفر، كثير صعب. لانه مش الشغله بس طباعه، مش الشغله بس شحن، مش الشغله بس في عندك بدك تسال يعني بدك تجاوب اسئله، تسال اجوبه. شوف بدك تجاوب اسئله، بدك تتفاعل مع الناس، بدك يعني الموضوع كتير أكبر مني. يعني أنا الإنجليزي لحاله عن جد ماخذ كل وقتي بين ويب سايت، بين شغل إن وأوت، فما بدي أوصل لمرحلة يصير الشغل اللي أنا بحبه.
لا هو الفنان كمان ما بيعجبوش يعني لو حد مثلا، يعني انت لو حد لو جه استوديو مثلا من اليابان وجي قال لك احنا هناخد جراي ايز ونعملها انمي، انا متاكد ان انت هتعترضي. عشان هتبقي دايما عايزه كل ابره في الخلفيه، مش في الشخصيات ولا في القصه، كل ابره في الخلفيه طالعه زي ما انت متصوراه.
هلا شوف احكي لك، يعني الواحد انا بالضبط اللي عم تحكيه 100%، بس يعني واحده من الاشياء اللي بحاول دائما ادرب حالي عليها انه الواحد ما يكون بيرفكشنست. انا مش بيرفكشنست، بس شخصيتي بتحمل مسؤوليه وبدي اعمل، يعني من عمل عملا فليتقنه. يعني ما عندي حدا يحكي لي انه كيف ممكن ارسم هاي الشغله واحكي له انه لا عادي بس انقلها. يعني لازم اعطيه الاتنشن، حتى على مستوى لما حدا يبعث لي يعني مدح معين، كتير بصير عندي توتر اني بدي اجاوبه جواب اكثر من شكرا. فالموضوع عن جد متعب، وهو بس يعني عندي انا الحمد لله عندي فولوينج منيح، بس ستيل لسه زي ما تحكي قادر اعمل له مانج. فكره اني افتح باب ترجمه اللغه العربيه، يعني بتمنى، انا بدي يصير هذا الإشي، بس صراحه لسه ما اجت زي ما حكينا الوقت المناسب ما اجى.
تمام. سؤال انا يعني مش عارف انت من فين، حد بيسال كده بيقول انت من فين؟
انا من الاردن، بس انا تجميع الاردن دائما بحكي، لاني بحس حالي ما بعرف انترناشونال، مش انترناشونال، بحس حالي هيك يعني اردنيه اكيد 100%، بس يعني بحس حالي دائما مربوطه بكثير اشياء، مش قادره انتمي لمحل معين. فما بعرف اذا هي شغله بالفنان، بالفن، بالرسم، بالكتابه، اي دونت نو، بس من الاردن.
تمام. انا متشرف جدا ان احنا نعمل اللقاء معاك يا فنان النهارده.
الشرف إلنا.
في سؤال برضو، كيف اعرف اني اشد المتابع بالاحداث، يعني كليف هانجر يعني؟
على هايك صراحه انا بالنسبه لي الشغله مو بالاحداث، القصه مش بالاحداث، واحنا كثير بنركز على الاحداث وعلى ذكاء الحبكه وعلى اهم شيء الشخصيات. اذا القارئ حب الشخصيه وحب يعرف شو بده يصير معه، لو يعني شو بدي احكي لك، بده يقص شعره حيكون مهتم صراحه. يعني انا يمكن الباك جراوند تبعتي سلايس اوف لايف، فسهل علي احكي هذا الشيء، بس حقيقه حتى لما تفكر باكثر قصه محبوكه او اكثر، كثير عنا احنا الواحد دائما الكاتب، وانا بلشت على فكره يعني حتى بقصه السلايس اوف لايف بلشت انه بدي اعمل، انا افرجي الناس كيف انا ذكيه بالكتابه، او انا كيف الحبكه اللي بدي اصدم الناس. بس حقيقه لا، اذا الناس حبوا الكاركترز حيمشوا معهم. يعني حتى على مستوى النهايه، مثلا نهايه جريز مش كثير مبينه هلا، بس يعني حتى لو حدا عرفها وسربها، انا متاكده 100% الناس اللي عم بيقراوا القصه لو عرفوا النهايه بدهم يعرفوا كيف رح يوصلوا لهي النهايه. يعني الشخصيات عشان هيك مثلا المانجا كتير قويه. انا بالنسبه لي بحسها مرات اقوى من الكوميكس، مع انه الكوميكس كتير صاروا احسن، بس هي قوه المانجا بالشخصيات،
بالتفاصيل وبالديتيلز اللي موجوده،
والناس بيحبوها وبدهم يشوفوها بتنجح او حتى بتفشل اذا كانوا مثلا مش منيح.
ده حقيقي جدا. لو لم تكوني مانجاكا ماذا كنت ستريدين ان تكوني؟
بدنا نبعد عن كل يعني بدنا نبعد عن كل كتابة القصص، لأنه ممكن أحكي لك إنه ممكن أكون كاتبة، ممكن، لأنه بالنهاية أنا بحب أكتب قصص، مش شغلتي مانجا بس. فإذا بدنا نقيم عن كل القصص نحطها على جنب إنه أنا ما بعرف أكتب، حأكون يا حضل بهندسة العمارة، لأنه بالنهاية لازم أكون إشي كرياتيف، لازم يكون إشي له علاقة بإني عم بصنع إشي. بس دائما بحس حالي يا بنجارة أو صاحبة مشتل.
جميل. طيب سؤال بقى ايه، يعني دخلنا كده بقى في الدولارات والارقام والبتاع والكلام ده، ففي حد بيسأل كده، المانجا التي تصنعينها هل تحقق دخلا كافيا؟
هو سؤال مهم على فكرة، يعني كتير مهم السؤال، لأنه في ناس كتير بدهم يدخلوا الموضوع ومش عارفين السوق شو هو عنا. حقيقة اللي فايت طالع، اللي كل شيء بفوت بيطلع بالنسبة لي أنا ديانا، يعني مع إنه ما عندي متطلبات وما عندي، بس كتير يعني إذا مثلا سنة كاملة عن جد ما بصرف إشي، بيجيني آخر السنة لازم أجدد جهاز، لازم أجدد تابلت، لازم أجدد، فاللي فايت طالع. هلا أنا بالنسبة لي مقصرة أصلا بالماركتينج وبإني يعني زي ما تحكي أتوسع، فما بقدر أجي أحكي لك إنه والله لا مش منيح. لما كنت اروح مثلا على كوميك كون بدبي كان كتير ممتاز، لانه عنا كتير تعطش لمحتوى عربي او رسامين وكاتبين مانجا عرب، وهلا عم بيطلع اكثر، ففي الطلب منيح. اذا الواحد بيشتغل حاله وبيتعب اكثر. انا شخصيا صراحه يعني حاحكيها بلط، انا كسوله فما عملت كثير بهذا المجال، بس دخل لحد 2019. انا بلشت 2010، 2019 بلشت اعمل ربح، بعدين اجت الكورونا ووقفت الدنيا. ف يعني الواحد بده يصبر وبده يشتغل كثير. انا شخصيا ما عم بشتغل مشان الحق يعني الجانب المادي، فيمكن مشان هيك مقصره فيه.
طيب انا بس عايز اضيف جزء على الكلام اللي انت قلتيه يا فنانه. انت عامه لما بتيجي تفكر انك تشتغل تبقى فنان، انت لازم تبقى حاطط في دماغك حاجه، على قد الوقت اللي انت هتستثمره في شغلك على قد هو الوقت اللي انت هتلاقي منه نتيجه بعد كده. لو انت هدفك ان انت تنجح، هدفك النجاح ولا هدفك الفلوس؟ لو هدفك الفلوس انت كده فشلت قبل ما تبتدي. لو هدفك النجاح، مستقبلك هو اللي انت بتعمله كل يوم. بترسم ساعه، مستواك هيتطور اخر الاسبوع 7 ساعات. بترسم 10 ساعات، مستواك هيتطور اخر الاسبوع 70 ساعه. لك انت تتخيل 70 ساعه دي على مدار سنه كامله انت اتطورت في شغلك عامل ازاي؟ طب انت طالما انت عمال تتطور في شغلك، عقليتك عماله تتطور معاك. انا بصدق ان ربنا خالق كل الناس موهوبه بشيء ما. انت لازم تعرف موهبتك هي ايه، لازم تدرب موهبتك وتشذبها كويس عشان تعرف ان انت تعيش وتشوف العالم من خلالها وتكسب منها. فموضوع ان انت تبقى باصص على الفلوس كتارجت اساسي وانت لسه بتبتدي، دي هتوقفك، مش هتخليك تتطور خالص. انا معلش، انا اسف ان انا خدت منك
لا
المايك.
ابدا، انا بحب هذا الباك، لانه انت عم تحكي شيء انا عم بخطر على بالي اشياء، يعني حقيقه هي هيك 100%. يعني الناس بيسالوا، لانه في ناس عم بيفكروا انا بخرج من الجامعه اقعد يعني اترك شغل وابلش بالمانجا. لازم الواحد يجاوب انه لا، حقيقه الموضوع انه لا، ما حتقدر تجيب مصاري من اولها ابدا.
أكيد.
فلازم يكون في شيء جانبي. يعني انا اول ما بلشت كنت اخذ فريلانس، وكنت اشتغل فريلانس مشان اجيب مصاري انا اصرف على حالي. النجاح، حتى نجاح، فكره النجاح ما يكون النجاح، يعني انا فاهمه عليك 100% اللي عم تحكيه بالنجاح، بس ممكن الواحد يغلط ويفكر انه انا النجاح اللي هو اني اكون اول واحد او اكبر واحد، او مش هيك النجاح. لانه هاي النقطه بحسها كثير كثير بتعيق ناس، لانه بتحط انه انا الهدف تبعي اني
كاني ده كده هو دخل في مقارنه مش في نجاح.
بالضبط، هي هاي المشكله. يعني المقارنه هي الإشي اللي حيدمر اي رسام. اذا الواحد بده يبلش بالمقارنه مشكله. وانا كثير ناس، يعني انا بتذكر اول مقابله عملتها حكيت انه بدور على منافسين، بتمنى اكون عندي منافسين. هذا جاي من وحدتي. كان الناس لهلا ببعثوا لي انه انا منافس إلك، مش انا الصراحه انا يعني ما بدي اسابق حدا، الي طريقي عم بسابق حالي صراحه. ولا يعني ما في حدا، اي حدا بينجح قدامي بزقف له، اي حدا بده مساعده من وراي بساعده اذا بقدر. بس اكثر من هيك انا الي اللين تبعي وعم بحاول يعني اسرع عليه. المنافسه طبعا بقول لك، لانه انا هلا كثير مبسوطه انه صار في كثير ناس ثاني اكثر. بطل الموضوع بالوحده اللي كانت بال 2010 لما بلشت، كان الوضع مش مفهوم يعني. واول مره لما رحت على كوميك كون اكتشفت انه لا، في كثير ناس زيي.
هل تعتبرين صناعه المانجا عندك حرفه ام هوايه؟
هوايه احترفتها.
احنا لسه متجاوبين على السؤال ده على فكره.
ما هي بتصير يعني السؤال.
أيهما حقق لك دخلا أكثر، البيع عبر موقعك أو عقدك مع دار النشر الأجنبية أم الويب
الموقع الخاص تبعي أكثر شيء صراحة. بس الويب تون يعني بال 2019 لما حكيت لك أول مرة بلشت أطلع ربح، لأن بالنهاية موقعي الخاص أنا طابعة من شخص، يعني من بنك أو من حسابي الشخصي، وعم بشحن. فدائما بقول لك زي كل شيء بدخل كل شيء بيطلع. بس الويب تون كنت أنا عم برسم شيء بحبه وعم بحطه، والناس عم بيقرأوا، على قد ما بيجي ناس قراء عم بدفعوا لي، فكان هذا الربح. بال 2019 هون كان الربح بجراي از كليبينجز لما بلشتها. بعدين بقول لك يعني بال 2020 حطيت كثير، بس كان الوضع يعني صعب، مع انهم كثير ساعدوا. ويبتون كان يعني هلا ممكن حتى في ناس، انا متاكده انه في ناس عندهم هذا السؤال، انه هل اطبع كتبي ولا اروح على الانترنت؟ انا 100% مع الانترنت. الطباعه بعدين. الانترنت لانه اول شيء في مواقع بتعطيك دفع، وغير انه انت بدك تبني جمهور يطالب انه انا بدي الكتاب. الكتاب بده تسويق وبده توزيع. اذا الواحد بده يتعاقد مع دار نشر من اولها ممتاز، بس اذا يعني ممكن اضيف شغله ما لها علاقه ولا بالسؤال ابدا، بس انه حكينا بالموضوع بالنسبه لدار نشر، مش بس لدار نشر، يعني لاي شغل، لاني انا كمان اشتغلت فريلانس دائما وابدا، لانه هاي بحسها الميشن تبعتي بالوطن العربي. لازم الواحد يكون كتير صاحي لما ياخذ بزنس بهذا المجال الجديد بالوطن العربي. اذا الشركه مش كبيره، اذا اجاك واحد حالم، لازم الواحد يعرف قيمته. احنا بنحب شغلنا وبنشتغل وبنعمله عن شغل، بنعمله لو ببلاش لانه بنحب الشغل، بس واحد ما يبيع حاله برخيص، لانه جد في ناس بيدخلوا بعقود وبيعلقوا بعقود لواحد عن جد حالم انه انا رح اكون اول بلا بلا بلا، او رح تكون احسن شركه مانجا، او فالواحد لازم عن جد يكون حذر، لانه احنا دائما الرسامين مش بس على فكره بالوطن العربي، بالعالم كله اذا في حرفه زي ما تحكي تشتغل، هم الرسامين. دائما اخر ناس بتفكر فيهم، فاحنا لازم نفكر بحالنا.
ده عشان كده انت لازم عامة اللي بيسمع اللقاء ده لازم يبقى عندك خبرة، انك لازم تتعامل مع الناس، لازم تتكلم مع هذا، تتكلم مع هذه، تشوف، تروح مؤتمرات، تروح مهرجانات فنية، تروح تستفيد خبرات فنية، تستفيد تعامل خبرات مع الناس، عشان لما تيجي تقعد تتكلم مع الناس في شغل ما يضحكش عليك. يعني ده الغرض من اللي احنا بنقوله، انه في ناس كتير شغلها عندها صغر نفس، فبتشوف نفسها دايما ان هي قليله، واي كلمه حلوه بتاخدها بتروح ماضيه عليها عقد وخلاص، وحتى لو هتاخد عليها مبلغ قليل جدا ما يساويش حتى الادوات اللي انت جبتها، حتى لو قلم رصاص عشان ترسم بيه.
بالضبط 100%.
ايهما يقرأ او يباع اكثر، النسخه العربيه او النسخه الانجليزيه او النسخه الاسبانيه؟
الانجليزيه. يعني انا عندي 73% دائما بشيك في 73% النسخه الانجليزيه، لانه هي المتوفره. العربيه مش موجوده لسه، والاسبانيه صراحه بحبوا يعني لسه الغرب كثير من الغرب عندهم انه المانجا لازم تيجي من واحد ياباني.
ده مش الغرب بس، ده هنا كمان.
يا والله. للاسف. بس يس اكنسي، يعني انا لما بلشت كنت قادره افهم الفكره، على فكره هلا انا ما بفهمها لانه تغيرت السنين، بس لما بلشت بال 2010 كثير كان في يعني زي ما تحكي نوع معين من الرسامين اللي بالغرب مثلا عن جد ما برسموا مانجا حلوه، عن جد ما بكتبوا قصه حلوه، وهم المشهورين بالواجهه حتى على اليوتيوب. يعني في ناس هم بالواجهه لانهم بلشوا من زمان، او لانه هم كانوا الوحيدين بوقتها، بس عطوا صوره زي ما تقول عن اي حدا مش ياباني برسم مانجا صوره معينه. هذا بال 2010. هلا بستغرب لانه صار في كثير من كل ارجاء العالم، اذا ما عاد يعني غريب، لساتني مش قادره افهمها، بس anyway بكل الاحوال يعني كانت فرصه كثير حلوه انه انطبعت بالاسباني.
ده حقيقي جدا. ما الذي تعملين عليه حاليا، وما هي امالك وتطلعاتك المستقبليه؟ وده اخر سؤال عندنا بالعربي.
هلا عم بشتغل بالكتاب اللي مش 10، بس هو كتاب اللي بعد التاسع بس رقمه مش 10.
المجلد التاسع، فوليوم 9 يعني.
انا خلصت التاسع وطبعته، هلا عم بشتغل الكتاب اللي بعده بس هو مش 10. هاي بس تيزر للناس اللي بيتابعوا القصه. في كتاب هلا حيطلع مش 10، قبل العاشر، ما بنعرف شو، مش 9:30. عم برجع للكتب القديمه. الاول والثاني والثالث والرابع والخامس خلصوا من عندي طباعه، فهلا عم برجع بعيدهم وبنقحهم، حتطلع نسخه كتير حلوه. خلصت اول 3 كتب وهلا عم بشتغل بالرابع، فهدول اكثر شغلتين عم بساويهم. تطلعاتي للمستقبل ما في صراحه، يعني انا ما راح اخبي، اللي عاملين لي فولو عارفين انه انا صار لي سنتين حياتي الشخصيه صعبه. فما عم بفكر صراحه، يعني انا عم بشتغل تيكينج ات، يعني باخذ بقوم هذا الشغل اللي علي بخلصه بنام، عشان اضل زي ما تحكي على الويل، على اضل ماشيه، بس ما عم بطلع كثير لقدام. نشوف يعني لما يجي الوقت ببين اكثر.
We are so honored to be talking to you today. We are starting with English questions. As you've seen, you already know that creator Diana Abadi is having a webtoon. Let's share the screen here again. Gray's clippings. and Grace. Subscribe and remember to like and comment on her amazing webtoon. We are so happy to be reading and talking about it, reviewing it, and talking with the creator Diana Abadi today.
The honor is all mine. Thank you for having me again.
Well, when writing about a character, do you always put yourself on their shoes?
Yeah, I should. If I want to make a character convincing, I have to understand where they're coming from, even when it's like outrageous for me, even if their actions doesn't make any sense. Thankfully, I have this. Like I've observed people enough. I've read a lot. I've heard from people lots of stories, and I live in a big family. I've lived in a big family with 5 siblings. So when something happens and I see different reactions from the different 5 people next to me, it was easy to develop this skill. But it's not always easy, especially when I write an abuser, for example. It's not easy to put myself in his shoes, but yeah, things happen for writing.
I remember reading that chapter. Actually, I enjoyed it, and I loved the drama. How do you get involved in it? And it's always fun. It's always fun to get out of your personality
Sorry.
and get into the personality of other persons. But it's actually terrifying if you are putting yourself into a murderer's shoes or a manic shoes. It's kind of scary because you have to think out of the box sometimes.
Yeah, I always have to think, and like a lot of characters, like I have this character that isn't really a bad person, but his personality is very different from mine. Like he's very outgoing and he's like a bit of a flirt, and I'm like a wall if you want to compare me to him. So it's very hard to put my mindset and try to understand him and write his dialogue, but here I am trying.
And here's another question. Would like to know how to start a layout that would make sense to readers' panels.
I don't remember which year, but I attended a workshop by the comic artist Craig Thompson, author of Habibi and I don't remember other works, but he said that he starts the layout of his pages with the speech bubbles, and it made no sense for me at the time. But right now, I totally understand it. After 10 years, like I understand that to understand the layout, it's good to think of the panels, of course, and like all the camera angles and stuff. But the text is what matters. It has to flow really nicely. So, and that's exactly what I've been revisiting my old volumes right now and then editing them. And that's my main concern. And that's the main focus of my work, is just to place the text and the speech bubbles in a way that doesn't make the reader stop at any point and like, wait, what's happening? Who said that? So I think speech bubbles is the first thing that you should consider.
It's always the art versus the text in the comics and the manga. It's the art of making the still frame, the still art moving in motion.
Yes.
The text is the power that gives every creator and every artist that kind of.
So many skills needed to create comics and manga.
Yeah,
it's very
exactly
impressive when like that. This like for me, sometimes I feel like it's almost unbelievable that such a medium exists. Even though I was earlier speaking in Arabic that I hated the medium, but the more I read, the more I create, I'm always impressed by the strength and just the genius of this medium.
Where do you take the inspiration for drawing the backgrounds, and where the place, which scene? This one is for the backgrounds exactly. I noticed that you kind of like enjoy working on backgrounds.
It's another thing that I used to hate. Listen to me. Everything I hated in my life ended up to be something that is like, oh wait, looks like I judged wrong. But yeah, backgrounds. You have to observe a lot. Like a lot of people think that I'm good at backgrounds because of my because of my background as an architect student. But I was a very bad student, sadly. I wish that I put in the time. Oh, really? High five. Honestly, it's always, even with the characters, it's the same with characters, observing. You have to draw from life. When I started, like, there's this series of trips that I had to take, that have to go on, like in 3-4 years. And I did a lot of live sketching. And this is what our professors in architecture department used to tell us. You always have to draw buildings to understand buildings. You always have to draw settings to understand settings. And that's exactly what like took my, even like you have to put characters in character in the background as well, not character as a human, but give the background, think of it as a character. I always give this example, but from volume 1 to volume 7, the characters in my story stayed in one place in some apartment, and then they left. When they left, I felt like I'm leaving behind a character, this apartment. I have to reimagine where they're sitting, what they're doing, where they're bantering, where they're fighting. So you have to think of characters. If you don't like backgrounds, you have to get into it step by step. When I started, I didn't like, as I said, I hated backgrounds. And I used to do 3D models. I still do 3D models for places that are gonna appear more than once to understand the space. So I used photos, I used 3D models, but with time, I started thinking of backgrounds as part of the story, part of the cast. And that's how I started getting good at it, I guess.
That's awesome. Well, you have drawing comics and drawing manga are two skills, so you have to be good as an artist to draw actual figures and draw backgrounds in order to be a good manga or comics artist. Those are not a single skill. Those are two skills.
Yes.
Okay, so head to the other next question, which is, what will you be doing after Gray is get to its end? Too many people are curious about this.
I don't know. I will always tell stories. I will always use art to tell messages. But I don't know where I'll be, honestly, because I have many interests. I have many things that I want to do. I want to create album covers for post-rock bands. Somebody sign me up. I want to draw illustrations and write poems. I don't know if I'll get back to animation. That could happen. Anything could happen, honestly.
That's cool. What can you say to someone who dreams about being a mangaka?
Love it and fight for it and have patience. Have great patience. It's hard. I still have my advice from 2010, but that doesn't work right now because there's a new landscape with the internet. So I think patience is the thing that you need to, like, across years, no matter what changes. If you love the craft and have patience and are smart enough to like follow the trends. I don't do that myself, but this is a good skill to have. Like, know the trends and try to implement them in your style. That's another good thing to do. But again and again, if you love it, you're gonna excel and you're gonna find a way.
That's awesome. How do you plan the composition of panels and speech balloons for each page? And do you first draw them and then place them, or you already know where to put that and then draw?
No, I think in a page, when I see a scene, I see it in page format. This is the thing that happened when I started clippings and I started thinking in Webtoon format. A lot of things changed. Even now, I'm writing these notes for all those people who keep asking about what happens after Grays. I'm writing notes for another story on the side.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. I hope I find time to stick to commit to it on the side, but I don't know. I'm thinking, like, the first question for me was, am I gonna print it is it going to be in a book format or it's going to be a webtoon? Because the whole thing's like you can change formats.
Did you draw it first on a manga page format or directly on a webtoon format?
If it depends what I want to like for it to debut. If I want it to be mainly like if I want it to be a webtoon, I'm gonna think with a scrolling format in mind, because I like to use the experience of the person who's reading.
Mm-hmm.
I use that a lot that's why I think the first thing I think of, where's the page go, on the right, on the left, because I want the reader to feel with the book. Same with the webtoon. I wanted to, like I saw the other day I was reading this webtoon Helper, but not Helper. It's HELLPER. Helper. I think that's the name. I hope I didn't.
That's the name, right?
Yeah. So I saw this episode where it tells you to scroll fast. Suddenly, the author is telling you scroll fast. So you scroll fast and you see something fall, and it's like, oh my god, I love this. I love using the device or the actual thing that you're holding to read the story and interact with it. This is the thing that gets me so hyped up about creating. And this is why I think what format I want to be the story as, to be in. Mm-hmm. Main thing, like when I design, where it's going. Now, you can change formats because this is what I'm doing.
Do you find it hard to change the format from a webtoon format to manga page format and reverse? Do you find it hard?
Yes, it's very hard. I tried to make a book of clippings, and I tried to make the manga that is in book format as a webtoon. It takes a lot of time. It can happen, but it does take a lot of time, especially with clippings, because I do think of people are scrolling. I want to surprise the reader here. But when I tried to convert it to a book, I'm like, how can I do it? I was very much focused on the vertical experience. Mm-hmm. It can happen again, but yeah, the first thing I think of is the medium, and then when it comes to the layout, I over and over again I think of the reader's eyes. How are they going to move in this layout?
The standard panels per manga page or per comic page is 5 panels. So do you use 5 panels of gray areas in a single page, or do you adjust it to your liking?
No. I always let the story rule the thing, like what is happening, because if you checked gray is, and those who read, sometimes you open the book and you see 2 blank pages. It really depends on the pacing. The pacing is very important, and I needed a lot of years to master that skill and understand how to do proper pacing. Mm-hmm. I don't want to surprise the reader before giving them time to get into it and then scare them, like a jump scare in a horror game,
Mm-hmm. Thanks for all the details. We got another one. How to make money with your manga? Paper version or webtoon version?
Definitely webtoon. I started as a webcomic. It started as a webcomic, and then when you start getting a following, people will ask for the book if they love the story enough. And this is exactly what happened with me. And right now, I never think that the print media is gonna disappear. I'm not afraid of that. But I think starting on the internet in places where there is a community is gonna inspire you more and makes you do more and learn more before you put things and print them and get into all that work of printing a book and shipping it to people, giving it to people.
Mm-hmm. We got another question joking about money. Is making manga sufficient to have a good income and live comfortably?
It depends on how comfortable you want to live, but
definitely you're not going to buy a yacht from it.
Yeah, definitely not. My God, I only started. I told you I started getting profit in 2019, and then COVID hit and everything. I lost all the profit that I made. You can make more money. As I said in Arabic, I'm very lazy, so I don't put in the effort to promote myself, to find places and better ways to make money. But as I said, it's not my main objective, and I'm very, very low maintenance. If it's not for my pet rabbit, I don't think I would need that much money, unless it is for new tech and new gadgets.
Well, you got too many fans. So, did you try Kickstarter or Indiegogo?
Sorry?
You got too many fans. So, do you consider trying on Kickstarter or Indiegogo to fund the book?
I did once. I did an Indiegogo for Volume 3, and I hope that I wouldn't be in that place again, that I need to start an Indiegogo. It was very stressful. You have to know, I'm a bit of a control freak, and I worry a lot about every single product going from me to the reader. So to get all those numbers of people like trusting me with their money, with their hard-earned money, it was, I don't know. I still feel it with my online shop, but it's less stressful when there's not a third party and people who are just like, there are people that don't know the story and want to like support this small Indiegogo campaign. It was a fun experience. I love to experience new things. Whenever there's a new thing, I'd like to give it a try, but personally, I don't think I'd want to do that again.
People are asking for book recommendations, drawing for learning, growing, and storytelling.
I'm not gonna wait.
Okay.
I am gonna. If I remember the titles, but I don't remember the authors. So I don't like it that I don't read much, and so I'm not really good in this department. I should read more. But when I started, there are 3 books that really helped me kickstart my journey: Art and Fear, The War of Art, and Writing Down the Bones by Natalie Goldberg, I think the name of the author. That I remember.
Writing Down the Bones.
Yes, Writing Down the Bones. These 3 books kind of made me commit, and especially The War of Art. It tells you about how our brain makes you resist the hard work. So it kind of like, it gave me the trick, because as I said, I'm very lazy. So for that book to open my eyes that, oh, I can just take it as a game against my brain. Yeah, now I can do it. Because every time I say I'm lazy, nobody believes it. But it's just efficiency. I know it's, I don't know, I think it's not Steve Jobs, I think it's Bill Gates who said, if I want something, if I have a problem and I want a solution, I'd hire a lazy person, because they're gonna find the fastest way to solve it, because they're lazy. And I believe that. As a lazy person, I confirm that.
Oh, well, those names of book and the links to those books will be down in the description box of this video on YouTube. Bad artist habit to stay away from.
Comparing, 100%.
That's cool. That's important. That's a very important saying. Stop degrading yourself and compare yourself to others. Stop doing this.
Nothing comes good. Nothing good comes from comparing. Whether in art or in life or whatever, I don't know. Like this is the only thing that makes social media a problem, I think, in my humble opinion. The only thing that you can see others and you start comparing, and then you go down the gutter.
Exactly. Favorite video games?
I'm gonna say Nier Automata and Undertale. I love the Tomb Raider series, and I have a very, very close nostalgic feeling towards Chrono Cross, because I played it too many times back in the day. But yeah, what comes to mind is Nier Automata and Undertale.
What is the best and the worst thing about your job?
The best thing is the creating. Let's get this out. Creating is the best thing in my job. The worst thing is the job itself outside of creating. Anything outside of drawing task is a problem. For me, it's my personality. It's because I just want to stay at home. I just want to draw. The past year was really stressful on terms of business side. And I remember breaking down to a friend and tell her, like, I just want to sit and draw this and draw. This is the only thing that I want to do. I don't want these complications. I don't want this drama. I don't want this. Yeah.
It's painful. I know. I have been through things like that in my life.
I don't know how to answer things better than the way I'm doing, but I honestly, this has always been the case. It's a lot. You have to, like, since we're trying to help others with this interview, you have to really consider the business side of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as easy as it sounds. Mm-hmm. There are websites to, like, if you find a team, I can't urge you enough. It doesn't work for me, but if you have people who can help you, it will be easier because there are websites to run, there are comments to ask to answer to, there are questions to answer, appearances, and then all the business side of, like, even making money, taxes, and it's a lot of work outside of creating, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
That's
I wouldn't
so
do
true.
it if it's not worth it. They say I was listening the other day to I think Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. He was saying that people say about art, like, I do it for free. And I was thinking when he's saying it, like, I am paying to do it. I'm not just doing it for free. I'm putting all my money into it to keep it happening. I would do it for free, but, like, I want to put it out there because in the end, a storyteller is nothing without an audience. So you have to put in the business side to, like, if you have a voice, you need an echo, and the echo won't come without you shouting out at first.
Exactly. Nicely told. How do you manage your time and stick with one schedule?
How do I manage my time? I have a notebook here. I have a whiteboard here and a whiteboard here, and I have two there. Yes, you have to write it down. Write it down. It's funny. Like, I think that I have a good memory when it comes to my work and the things that I care about, but it's a myth that you think that you're gonna remember just by putting it in your mind. You have to put it out, like, you have to put it on paper, on a whiteboard, and scratch when you finish. This is the most important thing, and you have to be flexible.
Yeah.
You have to be flexible with the tools. You have to be flexible with relationships. You have to be flexible with your health.
Because life happens.
Yeah, life happens. You can't just drop everything and just stick to, because you're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
That's like, for me, what keeps me going is everything else that I just said is the worst part of my job. Because I want to run away from all that, I come back and I draw every day.
Mm-hmm.
So you need that balance. Again, black and white.
Gray is.
Yes, gray is.
So you have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, and yearly goals. You must have those and have a notebook to write down your schedule.
Yes.
Where can I buy your works? The links will be down below in the description box, so check them and check the webtoons too. They are awesome. We are talking to a very talented artist here today, guys.
Thank you.
Can you train to be a better writer? I always feel like I am out of ideas and seeing people come up with them. That seems like a writer block to me, that question.
Read. Yes, read. Reading is always the remedy for a writer's block. I don't know. When it comes to writing, I really am bad at giving advice because I don't know if I read. I don't know. If writing that is something that comes with a person or it's a skill that you can develop.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a seed that is somewhere. But reading always helps. This is why I said I'm bad at this, because I'm not reading. I'm not reading enough books. I should read more books because revisiting the old volumes made me realize that I don't know, they call it writer's wit, or the way they like a writing style. I think when I was like editing some line, I would, before reading it, I would continue it because I kind of got too much into my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I need to read more fiction. I read nonfiction a lot, but I need to read more fiction so that I can hone my writing skills. So this is the advice to always go to.
I also have been talking to editors and Marvel editor-in-chief and writer from Marvel before. Here you can check the interview on my YouTube channel. Those writers told that you can take yourself away from the writing, just have notes and a pen and go to a cafe, go start walking around your city, have some fresh air and ideas will come. Start growing your imagination, as artist Diana Abadi just say. Just go read other books, go read other works. Another thing that's very important that's made us unable to have good imagination and can't have our imagination grow is that back in our days when we were so young, we used to watch anime and cartoons. We used to see a single episode per week or a single episode per day, and we had to imagine that monster or that event that's going to happen tomorrow or going to happen the next week.
The next week, yeah.
Watching a whole season about 70 episodes per day, this is going to make you dumb. This is not going to help you to evolve your imagination. You have to start creating things, because sometimes when you're imagining a fight in Naruto or in One Piece, you start sketching down and write what's going to happen with this power. What if? And this is going to get your mind working, get your gears in your head working. But if you start watching 100 episodes per day, you are just sitting idle and doing nothing but eating popcorn and watching the episode.
Yes, 100%. For me, it's like that with... I remember I was having this chat with a friend about this game, Deltarune, also by the creator of Undertale. And I was telling her this theory. Because he's releasing it episodically. He released 2 episodes so far. So I was sharing this theory, like, I think this is, and this and this is going to happen. This is what he's trying to do. And for me, I felt like if I was right, cool. If I wasn't, I can write it as a story. It's a good theory. So this is what's good about like having a space between consuming things. Consume an episode and go think about it. So that's a very good advice. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thanks to you. Thanks to the Marvel writers who told me about this.
Yeah, that's a very good advice.
For the rest of this year, do you have a career goal you want to accomplish?
Not really. I'm not thinking at all of anything other than day to day. I'm taking it one day at a time.
How do you get a physical print book?
Oi. Oh my god.
This is going to be an episode, a whole season answering this question, guys.
Yep. I mean, that work. The guy that I put the books at always tells me that you have to have other people doing this because you need to create more. I'm like, yeah, but I don't. I have trust issues. No, but I mean, it's
all the artists do. All the artists have trust issues.
Oh, good, thank you. Because I don't want to give this rap about artists, but it looks like the secret's out. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of daunting work because you have to all the margins, all the trimming, you think, especially this is the main thing why you should get someone, not because it's physically taxing, not because it's a lot of stress and interacting with people. It's just that we as artists, we look at, especially with colored pictures, we created this and we like it and we see it so perfectly on screen, but nothing on screen comes as it is in print. You're always going to be disappointed, always. So if you can prepare yourself to that, then go for it. But other than that, I mean, you have to...
You're going to kill the printer.
Yeah, I don't know why like when they're talking about metaverse, how about we figure out printers first? I don't know.
What software program do you use for your manga?
Clip Studio Paint. It's I was thinking the other day, like something good happens, and I'm saying like, this is the best thing happened ever since Clip Studio Paint. It's
Exactly.
like, this is how awesome
Exactly.
this software is.
Exactly. We had from a couple months ago we had a contest with 3 copies of Clip Studio Paint. So clearly we may be doing a contest again on our Facebook group, Artist Shops and Showcase. The link will be down below in the description box. And keep your attention for any upcoming contests, because we don't know what might happen. And maybe if artist Diana Abedi does have time enough, she can join our workshop, because we had workshop and then had the contest. So maybe we would be so honored to have her as an instructor as our workshop.
The honor is all mine, but
wow.
Teaching is a skill, and I don't have that skill, to be honest. I have good skill in motivational speaking. I taught an anatomy class in the Jordanian German University a few years ago, and I ran away. Like when the term was finished, I ran away. I like, no, thank you. I don't want to renew my contract. I don't have that skill. It's too much. Like, as a person who thinks of others and wants people to create I can't sit and tell people like this is wrong, or find someone who copies and tells them that they're copying. I can give you a good motivational a good motivational talk about. I can give you a TED talk about creating, but I can't teach creating, unfortunately. But thank you for the offer. I'd love to do it otherwise.
Okay. How do you find your balance of quality and quantity, and what does your schedule look like? We just answered that.
Quality and quantity. I mean, I always had this advice of not making your art, like, don't feel like your art is so precious that you're so afraid of taking risks with it, especially when you draw something traditionally and you line it and you love it, and then you get afraid of coloring it because you're gonna ruin it. I always feel like, no, you should color it, because don't precious it too much. You be done with it and start something new. If you fail with it, we learn from failing, not from succeeding. So I blanked out again. What was the question?
It's quality versus quantity.
Quantity versus quality. I'm a person who is visually very shallow, because I like something to be very beautiful. But it's understandable that you have to put out work and create more. So that's why I go to sketching a lot. I do daily studies. I sketch with a pen, so I won't erase. That's how you improve. It's good to have quantity, but don't go the quantity route of some artists that they just want to post all the time. So they create more, but there is no quality. So it's a very tough question now that I think about it. This is what needs a season, not the printing books thing.
Yeah. Well, definitely we got another one. I hope you have enough clones in your room, because we may be going for 2 or 5 years to answer this question. How can you manage to do the entire manga / webtoon process from beginning to the end by yourself? I'm going to leave and give the mic to you.
Well. How can I? I love it too much. I want to tell the story. Now, like, when you think about it, it's too little that I've offered so far, because I have a certain amount of energy in a day. But I'd love that to have a team. My brother was watching Hunter x Hunter, which is my favorite anime ever. Full stop. Nobody tells me that there's anything of a masterpiece other than it. And I was thinking that the anime, like, I love the manga, but the anime, Madhouse, the studio, made such a great job. And I was thinking, I remember when I was airing back like 4 or 5 years ago, I was thinking that every single episode, when it ends, I feel this is the only creation that made me feel like, what am I doing with my life? Like, this is too good that I don't have, like, I shouldn't be an artist because it's too great, you know? This is the only creation that made me feel this way every time an episode airs. But I was realistic about it. There's a team behind it. It's not one person. So it's a lot of work to be alone working on all this. But for me, this is how it works. Because as I said, anything that involves other people is more stress for me than doing it on my own. But you can do it. If that's what you like as well, you can do it. You just have to be patient.
Mm-hmm. Well, oh boy.
This is the shortest answer for the 5-year answer that you predicted.
Yeah. Working with an editor versus being your own editor.
I'm thankful that I have the skill of detaching myself from myself. I guess everybody has it to an extent.
No, not everyone. Not everyone.
I think no. Outside of art, we all have it because we all criticize ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sitting right here and I'm criticizing myself. I'm sitting over there as well and I'm criticizing myself. What I'm wearing, how I'm talking, the errors, the mistakes I'm saying, I'm making in language. We all have that skill, but I have it to a certain point. I think I developed it to protect myself back in the day from getting into, because when I entered DeviantArt for the first time and I saw the front page with all the great digital art, and I wasn't a digital artist back then, I think I started looking, even with photos of people, when I look at something, I try to see it, like, how does this artist see it in a way that they criticize it? Like when somebody posts something awesome and says, like, it's not that good, I would go back to the drawing and look at it like, what are they feeling? Like, what part of it is making them feel like it's not good? So I developed the skill of detaching myself and editing the work. I didn't do it with my work for the longest time because I'd never read my work. Like for the first 5 or 6 years, I didn't read Grey, which is the worst thing that you could do. It's hard to read your work because it could be cringy. It could be, you see all the faults, you're gonna scratch it and start over. Don't do all that, but do read it, because there are some things that I look at it and I'm like, how did I allow that to even be printed?
Mm-hmm.
So I developed the skill of being an editor, and when I go back now to my work, even when, like, I finished a drawing now and I post it, I can see the wrong in it, not because I want to feel bad about it, I won't feel about it, but it's good because you're going to learn more. Now, it's way easier to have another editor. That's the question. Like, is it having another editor? It's way easier, especially if it's a good editor that understands you and your message. They're gonna, I saw it in Japan. When I went to Japan, the editor almost writes the story without taking the writing part from the author. They just take the thing and make it so powerful and brings out all the good, remove all the bad. It's like they have that objectivity. So I'd love to have like an editor who would think that way. But again, I don't know. I just always go down the route of doing everything on my own.
How did you come across Webtoon?
Should I shock you again? Because if there's anything I hated other than manga, and it's colored comics. I hate coloring. And I don't know. I have this, I create Grey, but I have all this endless amount of side stories that don't make it to the story, to the printed book, to the main story. And I thought that I want to put them in one place. I'm tired. It was all on Tumblr or in logbooks and stuff. I wanted to have in one place. And then I thought, and I heard about Webtoon and I opened it and I'm like, it's all colored. Should I color mine? And I took it as a challenge. I didn't like it at first, but it get better with time. And now I like colors, not as much as I love manga style, but I don't know. It grew on me again. with everything else that I hate and I get into. I don't know why I do this to myself.
Did Webtoon offer you to be an original?
No, they didn't. They contacted me about other stories. Like they gave me a story to draw, but I declined 2 stories. One I declined because I didn't have the time. The other I declined because I didn't think that my art style fits the thing, and they totally understand it when I explained it. But I don't know if I can. I'd love to be an original, but I don't know if I can. The commitment is too real, man.
Meanwhile, mangas are known for being monochrome. Have you wondered if you should color it for a Webtoon re-release? This is what we just answered, so we are going to the next one. Unless you want to add something.
No, there is nothing. I just love ink. I love the black and white and the little bit of gray. The strength, the limitation. They always say limitation breeds creativity, and it does. Because it's easier to make like something that like put a night filter or like add. I don't know. Personally, I find it harder to convey mood in colors. Personally, but I don't know. For me, it's there's such fun in having just 3 colors to work with in a story, like gray is especially.
What made you modify the size of grays on Webtoon? Is it a long process?
It is a very long process, and it's to go with the times. You always have to go with the times. I'm gonna relaunch the main story formatted for Webtoon, because you're gonna think of, if you want exposure, you wanna be where the people are, and everybody is at Webtoon right now. They're very active. They want new stuff. So I can't just throw in a manga page and say like, read it and comment. I need to think what is the easiest way for them to digest this story, and do that.
Do you know? Do you now work on the manga version? How do you start first? Working on the Webtoon version or a manga version?
I'm still working on the manga version. I'm taking a big break from printing, but that is not gonna make me.
I don't think this is the question. This question is, how do you start first? How do you draw them on a Webtoon format or a manga format?
It depends on if it's the main series or the clippings. Clippings, I think I go with the Webtoon format from the start. With the main series, the black and white one, I go with the manga format.
How do you see Gray's community on Webtoon compared to your own page?
It's way more active on Webtoon. This is exactly what I just said. It's you always have to be where the people are, and they're very fast and they're very interactive on Webtoon. On the website, it's not, and I keep it because I want to have like the home of the story, but it's not that. There's much interaction there. Same with like when you start a Discord or any a place where you can build a community. You always want to be where the people are.
Well, artist Diana Abadi, do you have a Discord?
I do have a Discord.
Well, the link of Discord will be down on the description box, guys. So have fun and go enjoy reading Grays and talk to the creator.
Share your ideas, your comments. There is a place for everything there.
Yeah. How do you construct the basis of each chapter, what to show and what not to show?
This is a good question. Because oftentimes you can, especially if you love, I always say like love your work, but if you love it too much, it can get self-indulgent. And you could put in scenes just because, oh, this is a cute scene or this is a good scene or whatever. But sometimes you have to have the focus for a chapter or an arc, or like if you're going with the books for the book, so you wouldn't stray far. And this is exactly what happened. This is where clippings come from, because I write the whole chapter and then I go over it to read it, be the editor now. And when I read it, I feel like this line or this interaction is very good, but it doesn't serve anything to the theme of this section of the story. So I take it out and I just draw it as a clipping in the end. So always think of what's the main objective of the chapter that you're writing.
Cool. Well, I think we answered all of the questions.
Yay!
You can breathe now freely. Well, we were so happy to answer all of your questions. Feel free to send us your question more. And if you got any more questions, go rightly to Discord and go ask creator Diana Abadi about her works and more. And I'm sure she is so helpful too. She loves helping others. That's what I felt from our interview here and from her personality. She is a very humble and nice person. So go directly and start following and subscribing to her Webtoon and join her Discord. Well, there's something I would like to say in the end, but I don't know if I should say it in English or Arabic. But maybe I'm going to say it in both. بصراحة أنا حبيت إن الويب تون اللي أنت عاملاها إن أنت كاتبة عليها not boys love. دي حاجة إحنا عندنا في الشرق الأوسط عندنا كمجتمع متدين سواء من ناحيتين الإسلام والمسيحية. الكلام ده مفيش فيه هزار. احنا ما بنكرهش الناس، احنا بنحب الناس، بس الخطيئه بتاعتهم او الخطايا بتاعتهم دي حاجه تخصهم هم. بس انت نجحتي ان انت توصلي للناس تقول لهم في حاجه اسمها صداقه خالصه ما فيهاش اي نوع من انواع الشوائب اللي فيها الغريزه او فيها شهوه او اي نوع من انواع ده. انت وضحتي نقطه مهمه جدا وانا بصراحه احييك عليها. مش انا لوحدي بس، مراتي كمان الفنانه ساره اللي بتساعدني معايا في الشغل برضو اتكلمت عن الموضوع ده وحبت جدا اللي انت عملتيه. I'm going to say the same thing I just said in English. Actually, I loved what you just wrote on your webtoon, Not Boys Love, because it's a very sensitive part here in Middle East, talking about boys love. Because you mentioned a very important thing, that friendship shouldn't have any kind of desire or passion through looking through sex or other anything that pollutes or I don't know the kind word to say that, but actually you have done it greatly, showing true friendship, pure friendship that doesn't have or want anything other than friendship. And this is what friendship is between
it's
boys and girls.
I'm happy for you to say that. It's very important to have more media talking about platonic relationships, family relationships, teacher-student relationship, friendship, same-sex friendship. It's like we all need these kinds of relationships on the side of the main one that is always celebrated, which is romance.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we said it all. So thanks to you in the end. شكرا جدا ليك يا فنانة.
Thank you. Can I say something?
Of course.
Yeah, I'd love for everyone to check Andrew's work. The webtoon, the art is great. The dedication is great, and I was shocked by the number, like the low numbers for the quality. He's very passionate. He works. What I got right is that you're working with your wife on this comic.
Yeah.
So please do subscribe to the channel because there are a lot of awesome vlogs and interviews in this channel. Check the webtoon. I will link to it when I talk about this interview. And again, thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry again for all the delay, but I'm very happy.
It's okay. It's okay. I know I've been going through a lot. So thanks again. We are so honored to have you today as a guest.
Honor is all mine.
Surely have you again, if you don't mind, with longer planning, because I know you're too busy with your schedule. So many thanks again, guys. Feel free to send us your questions and check for more upcoming interviews. And goodbye.
Thank you.